I'm Jamie Dury and welcome to Backyard Blitz. Now Tracy Watkins and her sister Robin could easily be mistaken for living life a little bit like the modern day Brady bunch. Between them they've got 2 husbands and 6 children. That's 10 people living under one roof.
We bought the place 3 years ago and Robin and Scott liked upstairs, so they live upstairs. They've got the 3 children and it's a 3-bedroom place, and we have the downstairs and we've got 3 children as well. I guess some people have likened it to us being like the Brady bunch.
The Brady bunch, the Brady bunch.
The last 6 months has been pretty tough because Robin and I had some work that dried up. Then my husband, Mark, he became redundant for about 3-4 months. Going through bad times, not being able to afford to do the backyard was quite depressing because Jack and Tom, our 2 youngest, they both play in the backyard a lot, but it's not a very nice place.
Now because both families have been through some pretty tough times lately, we're going to send them on a relaxing 2-day break to a country homestead where they can swim, ride ponies, milk cows and tuck into some hearty country fare. Now when they return, we'll have surprised not just one person, but an entire family.
Well, first job for Jamie and I today is removing all of this turf, but we're going to keep this fantastic frangipani tree. Scott's just prepping the fence line. He's going to clad that with some great timber work, and Nigel's doing some clearing. He's having a lot of fun there, getting ready for his paving.
Hey Scotty,
Yes, mate.
any ideas what this thing is, mate? Looks like some old ironing board or something.
Mate, I'd reckon that's an old pipe vise.
Oh yeah?
Put that in there. Stand on this so it doesn't move. Slot your pipe in there, and it'd be for the old tap and die, cutting a thread on a pipe.
Very handy.
Because Tracy and Robin's family live by the ocean, we've decided to help them out with a beautiful modern coastal garden. And this is how we're going to achieve it. Now we'll step down from the upper level onto a huge paved area, surrounded by pots with olives, flax and coast rosemary. Now we'll step down onto a lower level where we're creating stepping stones using a combination of pavers. On either side we've got Guiamia lilies with blueberry ash, Dianella and Dietes. Now up the end of the garden we're using a huge viburnum hedge. In front of that we're using spider lilies, and to top it all off, a beautiful stone water feature surrounded by a sea of pebbles.
Now I've got a dream situation this week with my paving. We've got an existing slab here and we're going to be going straight over the top, so there's no excavation, no road base to bring in. This concrete's ideal as a base. I'll bring in my sand, screed it off and then pave. Perfect.
Now this brick wall here was a little bit dated with these features in here, so what we want to do is cover it up basically. So what we're going to get some 3x2 down here with some dynabolts in there, and then some treated pine decking boards with some gaps in between. Straight along there, it'll cover it up, blend in beautifully.
Well, underneath this magnificent frangipani, I've got a screen planting of some viburnums, mostly grown for their really glossy, tough foliage. They also have a really beautiful, fragrant flower too. These will get to a couple of metres, so screen this off really nicely. In front of them, we've got some great crinum.
Oh, Jode, I love these, the crinum lilies.
Crinum lilies, yeah.
These are fantastic, handle a lot of positions. Full sun to shade, they get a great spider-like flower on them. Really beautiful plant, very hardy too, Jode. Oh, look at that flower, beautiful.
Now I'm about to bag these walls. And what I'm
Talking
using
about
to
bagging, mate?
Yeah,
I'll
mate.
give you a bag and pal. Cut your hair, the cleaning lady. Hey, what about the long stripes? Where's your shorts?
Oh yeah. Well, that's one form of bagging, but the other form is this. We're using a 4:1 sanded cement mix. We're putting a bit of oxide in this one, and bagging is where you sponge it on quite lightly and you get that rustic finish. Rendering is where you trowel it on a little bit thicker and a much more even finish.
Now I've got all my sand screeded, all the levels are good, so I'm ready to pave, and what we're going to do is pave on the angle from the concrete edge here. I've got the string lines set up here. We're going to give these pavers about a 20mm overhang just to finish it off nicely.
this show, I've had to set up my workbench in some dingy areas, some hot sheds, boiling sun. Now, this one is absolutely perfect. It's in my top two, without a doubt. I've got the beach down the road here with this sea breeze belting down, the shade of the pine tree. It's magnificent. Look at the lagoon out there in the park. I think it's time for lunch. We sit down, relax on the blanket with the... Hey guys, lunch?
Way ahead of you, mate.
That's right here. Now the idea with this bagging is you start at the bottom, work your way up, push it into the grout lines. And the golden rule is there are no rules. It's whatever finish you like. Circular, or you can pull it back like this. I prefer a nice smooth finish, just like that. And wait for it to go off.
Now these are my timber screens that are going up against this brickwork here. They're just a treated pine decking board. We're using a galvanised twisted deck nail that goes in there so they won't pull out. Coat of paint on this. Now I reckon that this is a pretty easy and cost-effective way to change the whole look of this garden. It's going to look great.
Now using a really beautiful sky blue here to really pick up the colours of the ocean and the surroundings. Very cheery indeed.
Now, to get that really professional finish on your paving, it's important to get your cuts spot on. We've got a few fiddly ones here with the wall and the piers, so I'm using the level to maintain my angle on the front here, and the sliding bevel, great tool to get your angles. We mark that against the level, get the angle, and transfer that onto the paver, and with the tape and the bevel and the level, we've got it sorted.
Now I need to get these 10mm Dynabolts straight into this brickwork here to hold these battens. Now I need a couple of things for that. Number one, a 10mm masonry bit here, but more importantly, a hammer drill. That's a drill with an impact situation on it. Now this is one of the biggest ones you can get, but most of your smaller 13mm drills have an impact driver on them, and that'll get you straight through into your masonry because it's got a bit of a hammer action as it...
Plant for these exposed or coastal situations would have to be this coastal rosemary, otherwise known as Stringa fruticosa, but don't try eating this one. It does have a good show of flowers throughout most of the year, and it's good because you can shape it up and keep it nice and tidy.
Now Jamie's the master of the bagging, but I'm just going to show you how he gets that special mix. It's very important when you're using oxide to keep your ratios even with all your materials. In this case we're using the bucket for the cement. There's 1 bucket of off-white cement to 1 cup of the yellow oxide. So what you do is mix these two thoroughly together. Once you've got an even mix there, 4 parts of bricky sand, mix that all through, and then add your water until you get that beautiful creamy consistency.
Now the people here have got themselves a dog, and it lives behind this enclosure here, but this is a little bit rough, and I think the fella that lives here built this, so we might have to get rid of it because it doesn't suit our design. So we're going to knock that down and extend the outside boundary fence there, and that'll keep the dog in. Perfect.
When selecting plants for your garden, it's always a good idea to have a look around what's growing well in the area already. For example, we've got some beautiful plants that are found naturally together in the bush. This is an Eliocarpus, otherwise known as a blueberry ash, and it's a very attractive rainforest tree. It has a really attractive fringed flower on it, very pretty. And you come down here, this is found underneath trees. This is a Dianella, goes great in a semi-shaded spot, and also gets a very attractive purple berry on it, quite a feature.
Hey Scotty, how's this, mate? We're here slogging our guts out in the garden. And these locals, they're lying there reading the book, walking the dogs. It's just not fair, is it?
You're right, mate.
How's the
not
fence
fair.
going?
It's going terrific, pal. I'm actually putting this top plate on here so the people can sit here and relax and admire the passing view.
Come on, Jamie, what are you doing, you workaholic?
That's it. It's got to go. It's got to be right. It's going to dry right tomorrow.
So we done?
Well, we've got to clean this because it's got to be painted tomorrow, so we've got to gurney it now.
Oh, you're joking.
No, it won't take long if we get it
Come
all
on,
up.
pull it up, pull it up. Here we go.
That's what I like to see. Those knuckleheads still working. Beautiful.
go?
Oh, mate, I'm the Lee Marvin of lagoon fishing. I never miss out.
Let's have a look. Come on.
This bloke.
What sort of fish is that?
It's a fillet fish. It's very fresh.
Mate, that's straight from Cole's frozen fish department, if you ask me. That is a shocker.
Absolutely not.
What's that, mate?
Oh, look at the outfit.
What do you reckon? Just the shorts?
Let's drop the fishing story. Let's get into this business. I don't know about you, Nigel. I'm feeling hungry. I feel like drumsticks for some reason.
That's fantastic work, mate. Look at that.
Well, I've definitely given this really barren area along here a lift, and it is sometimes quite difficult to find something to go underneath trees. But these Fatsia japonicas are just superb in this position. They love filtered light, and the main thing with these is the foliage, very tropical looking, and they are quite frost hardy too.
Now, I've told everyone, no more walking through here. Keep all the sand off the deck. I'm going to cut in around the edges here, and then I'm going to roll it right through with an exterior decking paint. It'll seal it up and brighten up the whole job.
Now, as a feature plant in the corner here, we're using this beautiful variegated yucca. It's the architecture of these plants that I really like. Likes full sun and a well-drained site. Likewise, these blue fescues underneath like the same sort of conditions. The blue grassy texture of this foliage is what sets these off. And in with the yucca here and also the dietes, you get a great effect in this garden bed.
Well, this is our mulch we're using. It's a bit more on the expensive side for mulch, probably between $80 and $100 a metre, which is quite expensive. But as you can see, it's quite different, very modern, and there are a few colours available in this. Just a pine bark sort of wood chip, and they've just dyed it.
Now, this is a very simple, very safe water feature. I've got a fiberglass pond, stainless steel cage over the top to keep the kiddies out. I've got a brick base. My pump sits in between that. It comes up through a couple of pavers, up this 19mm pipe, over the top of the pavers, through the pebbles, which I'll put over the top of the cage here, and back into the pond again. Very simple.
Now, I've got a couple of gates to knock up through the two openings that are on the fence line there, and what we're doing is basically following the same pattern as the cladding that we've put on, just using these decking boards. We've laid them out in the same pattern. A couple of uprights that go in there to hold the gate into place, but the most important thing with a gate, number one, is to screw your gate together and not nail it, because there's going to be movement and you want it to stay solid. And number two, a cross brace, so your gate can't sag down over use, you know, opening and closing and that sort of thing. It needs to be solid for years to come so it doesn't catch.
Well, the paving is looking fantastic. Nige is up to about 76 cuts. Jodie's finished painting the fence. Scotty, what do you got here, mate?
This is my last gate, pal, and I'm looking good.
Beautiful. Now I've finished painting the deck. I'm just going to finish off this water feature, and I'm feeling very hungry. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hungry. What do you reckon, guys?
Mate, the park, what about we kick the footy around?
Yeah, get it out there. Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
G'day, Trace.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Now tell me about your holiday.
It's been great. We've been relaxed. We've been walking around the farm, and the kids even sat on a cow. I even sat on a cow.
Now if she bolts, she won't jump over the fence.
All right, well, you sit tight,
Okay.
have fun, and I'll see you around about 6 o'clock.
Okay then. Thanks a lot.
All right, now don't be late.
Okay.
Bye, Tracy.
Bye.
Now, I've moved off the paving, but I'm onto the steppers now. We're going to have those leading from the paved area across to the deck and also out to the door and the water feature. And through those, we're going to have the river pebbles. It's going to look good.
Now, our beach-themed fence is almost complete and it looks fantastic, but the final touch is the stainless steel cable. We've got a stainless steel saddle, screws, the turnbuckle and the cable itself. When you're close to the beach, always use stainless because it'll last forever, no corrosion.
Well, we are in the best position we've been in for a very long time. They're going to be home in about 2 hours, and all we've got left to do is pot out these pots, lay the rest of the pebbles throughout the yard. Nigel's got to lay 6 more pavers. We'll clean up and then we're done. Good feeling, isn't it, mate?
Absolutely, mate.
It's great.
Rain's coming down. You've worn your shorts
I'm
for
in my
the first time.
I know, I'm prepared.
When you're setting your stepping stones, it's important to have them bedded down firmly. Normally, you might use a mortar mix, but in our situation here, we want things to happen quickly. I'm using rapid set concrete, which is just as good. We lay out a dry pad, wet that up, and then set the paver in there. Give it a few taps with the mallet. And then I'll haunch this all up with the concrete.
Well, I don't know if I've got more dirt on myself or in the pots, but they are great pots. They're a charcoal colour sandstone pot. What I've got is just a nice standard mix, and then I've got some great phormiums or New Zealand flax in them, and they're just magnificent plants. You can get a lot of different colours available in them, and they get a really attractive seed pot of them, and this colour behind here just looks amazing with these ones.
If you ever decide to take on the stainless steel cabling, just a tip, with your turnbuckles here, as you're crimping them all up, make sure this is fully open, and that'll give you plenty of room to tighten it as the job goes on.
Now in the corner here we've got this beautiful olive tree. These guys like full sun, great drainage, and they're really good in a big tub like this or as a specimen tree in any garden. One of the main features is this lovely silvery underside to the leaf, and they also get a really nice dark green. And of course in summer, the olives. That's the real thing about them.
Now, as usual, construction is way ahead of schedule. All my wires and timber work's in, and now I'm going to help out the boys and the girls with the landscaping. Now, they're going to try and tell me and you that these are something like fancy called Nepean River stones or something. When I went to school, they were called rocks. Hey, let's help them out. Nige, where do you want these, mates?
Just chuck them there. That's it. Lovely.
Surely this landscaping is not a 4-year course. Betty.
We're just arranging these pebbles to make an interesting effect in the centre of the garden here. But I'll tell you what, this is a really, really great little concept for a very simple design that you can do at home. Just using bold colours, an arrangement of pebbles, and as long as you've got a good base under your stepping stones, it's a great little coastal design that really holds together well. Surprise! Rowan, Jamie, Drew from Backyard Blitz, welcome to your garden. How are you?
Wow, God, it looks stunning.
How are you, kids? Come on up. What do you think?
Floating in the backyard. So I thought, Mum,
What do you think, kids?
With the dog playing with the rain. Oh, unreal. Did you never win a holiday?
G'day, Jamie, Drew from Backyard Blitz. How are you, Scott? How you going, Mark? Welcome to your garden. What do you think, boys? Absolutely awesome.
I feel like an idiot. I've never been sucked into my life. Oh, unreal.
Now, good garden design is all about keeping it simple and working in with your surroundings. And that's exactly what this garden does. I must admit, when I got here a couple of days ago, I really didn't think it would come up that well. But it looks fantastic and the family love it. And the greatest thing about it is it's virtually maintenance free. A beautiful Australian beachside garden, perfect for our family of 10. Now, if you'd like more information on tonight's makeover, look us up on the Burke's Backyard website. Oh, and don't forget, in this month's Burke's Backyard magazine, look out for our 48-page Backyard Blitz lift out with 10 of our very best designs. So what did you think?
It's unbelievable. It's exactly what we used to talk about.
Really?
We've just never been able to do it, no.
Fantastic.
Scott Camp, how do you do? Scott Camp, how do you do? Scott Camp, how do you do?
She's a clever girl, isn't she?
She's very clever. I'm never going to believe her ever again.
Scott Camp, how do you do? Scott Camp, how do you do? Scott Camp, how do you do?